So I think the first question is, how did you come to working in storyboarding? Because that's what you do,
Yes,
storyboarding
yes.
and concept art.
A little bit of concept. I dabble. I wouldn't say that I'm as proficient as some of the guys.
Right. So storyboarding for Harry Potter. How did you come to storyboarding for cinema first, and then for Harry Potter?
I did a degree in graphic design and illustration. Always wanted to work in film, didn't quite know how. Then started working for an animation company and started shooting rostrum footage at the National Film and Television School just outside London. Realised that you could study film and the production of film rather than film history. So I actually went to Kingston University where I did postgraduate diploma in film and television design, and since then I've been working in film. So storyboarding is like the combination of wanting to work in film and wanting to draw. That's the best combination of the two, really. And it works for me. I've been fortunate enough to stay fairly regularly employed ever since. Been lucky.
Harry Potter is kind of a steady job.
Harry Potter was 5 years. So I started, my first Harry Potter was HB5. And that was 2005, and I worked right all the way through until the end of 7.2, so 7B or 8 or however you want to call it. So yeah, on and off 5 years.
So your job comes in very early in production.
Yes, it's in the pre-production stages. So
pre-production.
We'll get the script. I'll sit down with the director. Some directors will be very specific, shot by shot. They'll know exactly what they want. Others will be very loose, and they'll tell you to have a look at scenes 28 to 32, see what you can come up with. So fortunately, that was pretty much the Harry Potter way of things. So you got a chance to play and try a few ideas, and then you basically read the script, break it down, talk to the production designer, see what he had in terms of sets, any specific ideas, talk to visual effects, special effects, what they were thinking in terms of any monsters, creatures, explosions, action, and then start to work out a route through the story. So it's basically just visual storytelling.
So how free are you compared to the casting of characters? How free are you to draw them a bit the way you imagine, or do you have to kind of remain based on the actors that you know are going to be cast or have been cast, or you think are going to be cast?
Obviously with Harry Potter we've got a list of characters that we knew. Because of the time elements and time constraints, you're trying to do 20, 30, 40, 50 frames, 60 frames a day, you do tend to develop a shorthand, so you won't draw Daniel Radcliffe each time. Every time you'll have a drawing of a young guy with scruffy hair and glasses, and you'll put the scar on his forehead, and instinctively that's Harry. So that you tend to break it down and have a kind of shorthand that allows you to draw somewhat quicker than you would if you were trying to do portraits all the time.
Because there are very different type of storyboarding. You have the kind of broad outline, but sometimes you can see storyboardings that are very much more detailed.
Yes.
Do you do that for specific scenes because it's required, or is it a matter of time? Or?
Time is certainly an issue. If you've got to turn a sequence around in a day, then your time is limited, and you have to go with what you can produce in that day to get over the action and the story, rather than necessarily the finer details of whether it's an arch or a square door or a long corridor or a low corridor, whatever. So it tends to be a little bit of how long is a piece of string question. But I try and exercise a little bit of quality control in as much as I don't know who's going to be looking at those boards and when. And I'm not going to put a disclaimer on the bottom of them saying this only took me a day. So you tend to be judged by, I don't want somebody to look at my boards and go, crikey, who drew these? So I try and make them as good as I can in the time that I've got.
It's very
It's 623 is really.
That's a safe way to approach it.
Well, it's a bit of quality control, and you think that might be the only thing that gets me my next job. So you want to make them as good as you possibly can.
Is Harry Potter different from other films because of the magic and the wide imagination?
Not really. I mean, it's lovely because it's effects heavy, and anything that's effects heavy needs a lot of pre-planning, and that's where storyboards come in, because they're visual pre-planning. So it's just nice from the point of view that you get to draw lots of stuff, and it's nice stuff to draw. You know, it's like drawing Batman, drawing Bond. Who doesn't want to draw that kind of stuff? If you've got two people in a room having a conversation, it's not the most exciting stuff to draw. If you're fighting dragons, if you're chasing giants, if you're being chased by spiders, or swimming underwater with webbed feet, and so on and so on, yeah, of course it's a lot more exciting, a lot more fun to draw.
Was there one particular scene that you enjoyed drawing, or where the process was more interested in the evolution of the idea from the script to the actual final storyboard? Seemed more interesting.
There's several scenes, but one sequence that kind of stands out was the room of requirement in HP7, when Harry goes in and Malfoy follows him in, and you get all the fire.
The fiend fire.
The fiend fire, yeah. And that was, I think, overall, we drew that about 13 times, with 13 different iterations based on script revisions, script changes, what we could do, what we couldn't do, what set we had, what post-production we had, how we were going to do things. So yeah, that was good because it showed a real movement through the process of spitballing what could happen to finally narrowing it down to what we got to have.
We know that there are many scenes that are cut from the film. Was there any scene that you worked on that you wished had ended up in the film? Or
in HP6, I worked on a sequence very, very early on, in a very early draft of the film, where Malfoy and the Death Eaters have just gone into Hogwarts through the cabinet. And we were going to do something with Fenrir Greyback and Neville on the marble staircase, some sort of fight on the marble staircase as they were moving up towards Dumbledore's office. So we worked on that for a while, but it just became too expensive to include. But I think that would have been a fun sequence to have actually had Greyback kind of darting around these staircases and Neville trying to fight back and run away in the way that Neville can before going up to Dumbledore's tower. I thought that would have been quite interesting.
Yeah, because there is not an actual battle at the end of the.
Not really.
Yeah.
It's quite a slow burn in terms of that climax of the film. I mean, I suppose the climax is when Harry chases them out of the castle at the end, down towards the names now. It's 10 years. Hagrid's hut, yeah, down to Hagrid's hut. You get the fire there and things, but yeah, a little bit more, a little earlier, we might have ramped that whole sequence up, perhaps. But yeah, it's all down to costs, and that's why it's cheaper to board things, work out when you can afford it, and commit to building vast sets and lots of post-production when you can shoot it. You don't need it or you can't afford it.
But I mean, you have to work with the set, the set director,
set designer,
set designers, Stuart Craig, and so you have to know at what point is storyboarding coming to play, because you have to start before sets are being built, but then you still have to adapt to the set and the use you can have. So do you kind of really work at punctual points, like regularly come back and redraw something, replan something?
Yeah, things normally get redrawn, different iterations based on changes that come through, either script changes or set changes. Potter was a little different because you've got 4 films beforehand, so there was quite a lot of information in terms of, if not actual sets, the kind of way that sets would look because of the way that rooms and chambers, corridors, etc. have gone before. So you've got a little bit of a language. And Stuart was in the art department, and I was based in the art department, so if I had a question or a problem or just wanted to know any information, I could just knock on Stuart's door and just say, Stuart, what did you thought about Azkaban? HP5, I think, was the first time that we saw the exterior of Azkaban. And it was, how would you visualised it? What did you see? And he said, I not quite sure, Jim. Give me 20 minutes, I'll get back to you. 20 minutes later, I got a side elevation, end elevation plan, and that was it. You know, so to have that master designer so close that you could just go and ask a question was just manna from heaven. So that was just made life so much easier. And he would come in and say, well, you know, what are you doing with this sequence? And we'd talk, and he'd say, oh, okay, well, maybe I can do something like that, and that would help. Or maybe we need some height. Or so we're seeing a lot of the floor, so we need to spend time on getting floor finishes, and so on and so on. So there'd be an exchange of information, and that would help him to know what he needed to do, and equally it would help me to know what he would want me to show. And so, you know, we've got an elaborate staircase, so let's use that staircase. So yeah, it was just an exchange of information.
How was it to go back to the Wizarding World with Fantastic Beasts and the creative team, which was a bit similar? Yeah.
It was quite weird because it was quite different. I wasn't part of the art department. I was down in the production office, so there was a little divide in terms of not quite being in that same environment, which made it different. There had been another storyboard artist on before, a friend of mine, so I joined him, and so it was picking up loose ends rather than perhaps being at the front end of it. And the production time was so much smaller as well because there were no children, so you don't have to cut down the number of hours that you can shoot or how you develop it. So it was a quicker turnaround in terms of doing it. But I mean, it's the same stuff. It's the same magic. It's the same little sprinkles that you want to try and get in there. So it's yeah, it's nice. It's good stuff to draw. Can't help but enjoy it.
Building, because Fantastic Beasts is also about, well, for the first one, New York in the 1920s. So I guess it's really, really peculiar in the aesthetic of the city and times.
It was different, obviously, but you'd still got Stuart behind it all. So, so although the aesthetic, you know, on the surface appeared different, you could still see what he was trying to achieve. And it still had that kind of harmony between what he'd done before and what he was doing now. So he's just so lovely to work for that you just want to make his stuff look as good as you possibly